dramatic twist in the Dharmasthala mass burial case. The special investigating team has arrested a man infamously known as the Masked Man. He was presented before the court by the SIT today, where they sought his custody. The court, after hearing the arguments, granted SIT 10 days custody of the accused. The SIT argued in court that there are many other people behind the accused and custody was required for a detailed investigation. The court also gave an opportunity to the masked man to speak. He reiterated that he had buried the bodies in Dharmasthala. Now identified as CN Chinnayya, also known as Chenna, the former anonymous complainant has now turned into the prime accused. Police sources confirmed that Chinnayya was taken into custody after it was established that his earlier statements were misleading and fabricated. The witness protection provided to him has also been officially cancelled, with SIT framing direct charges against him. According to sources, during an intense grilling by SIT officers, the anonymous witness admitted that he had induced and misled others to give false statements as well. In a shocking revelation, he confessed, and I quote, "I am only a player. The masterminds are someone else. They told me to say like this, so I said it. They told me to take the skull and hand it over to the court, so I did," unquote. He further admitted that he had no knowledge of where the skull was before it was produced in the court. And despite repeated questioning, he remained evasive about the origins of the skull. At one point, he insisted that investigators must first conduct excavation at the spot he had earlier shown. SIT, suspicious of inconsistencies in his testimony, subjected him to hours of questioning. And under pressure, the complainant finally spilled crucial details, exposing contradictions in his earlier version. As of this morning, the arrested Chinnayya is scheduled to be produced before the court. He was in fact produced before the court. And prior to that, a mandatory medical examination was carried out. And with the arrest of the accused, the case has now taken a dramatic turn. The so-called whistleblower has now been unmasked as the accused himself, raising bigger questions on the alleged masterminds. And who is behind this masked man pulling his strings? Meanwhile, BJP has launched a week-long Dharma Yuddha protest across Karnataka over Dharmasthala mass burial case led by B.Y. Vijendra.
SIT and the police department, they failed in doing their investigation in a BNS way, under CRPC, under BNS. When an ordinary person came to police station with a skull, they supposed to inquire that masked man first. How he caught or get the skull, from where exhumation has been done, who has given the power to that person to exhume the skull. In that way, they have not conducted the investigation. Without knowing the factness of the case, how they written a letter to magistrate? That means police department has been conducted by other person. So behind the masked man, there are many people. They have done a great conspiracy. So government has become the part of that. So I urge the inquiry should be conducted by NIA only. And the Chief Minister has to apologize without condition before the Hindu people, before the Kannadigas.
Dharmasthala matter is purely between two Hindutvavadi groups. One is opposed to Prabhakar Bhatt, one is pro B.L. Santosh. We have got nothing to say on this. This is a clash between two Hindutva groups. They have to decide themselves. Government has formed the SIT and they are investigating it, and there should be a time-bound for SIT, because they should give a specific time so that the the real facts come out early. So it cannot prolong for a long time because lakhs of people have got faith in that temple, and to clear their doubts, SIT should give the report at the earliest.
And it's a dramatic U-turn as far as Dharmasthala mass burial case is concerned. My colleague Vajula joining us live with more details. Vaji, the man who was expected to be the complainant, the whistleblower, in fact turns out to be the person who's responsible for producing that skull.
Well, absolutely, Shweta. We still don't know whether he's the one who produced the skull because in his statement he said he doesn't know who gave it to him and he doesn't know who are the players behind, who are the bigger players behind it. He's just a pawn who's been used by them to move this thing. They told him to say these things, and that is why he misled the SID for all this so long. And it clearly shows you the misleading, because for all these days we had been seeing the SIT digging up at various spots at Dharmasthala, and despite all of that, only a few fragments of bone were found. In one of the FSL, it has turned out that one of these bones were of a male person. So we will have to wait and watch now what happens since the court has granted 10-day police custody. His witness program has also been taken off. How far will the police now be able to investigate and get into the depth of the matter to find out what led him to mislead the entire state with regards to Dharmasthala and the killings that have taken place? Even in court today, when the court asked him if he wants to say anything in his defense, he continued to say that he has buried bodies. So it remains to be seen what pans out, because the information that we have received so far is that the masked man has been evasive since yesterday, and after heavy grilling, that is when the police realized that there is something missing over here, and they arrested him today morning, produced him in court, and got a police custody of Chinnayya, or the masked man. Now, in the next course of action will be interrogation in the next 10 days. They will take him to all these spots, whichever he has said that he knows about Dharmasthala, where he met so-and-so people, and that is where we will be able to get a clearer picture. Or whether we will get a clearer picture, only time will tell us now.
All right, only time will tell us. But I think it's also throwing some important light on where the case is headed from here, Vaji, because the chief complainant apparently himself is involved in perhaps burial. Now, he's not given out many details, as you pointed out. He has, in fact, spoken of bigger players in the picture who were pulling the strings and who were responsible for giving him that skull. But I think it sets in motion for a greater clarity. With his arrest, perhaps we'll get some more clarity on what happens here on. Who are these people who buried any body, if at all, and in fact pressured him or induced him to produce that skull?
Not just him, even Shraddha Bhatt, who was the person who said that Ananya is her daughter, she has also taken a U-turn, saying that she has nothing to do with this. And it was the YouTubers who had asked her to say all of this. A lot of pieces are falling off this entire maze, and it now remains to be seen how the police will fix this puzzle, because these were the people under whose direction the investigation was moving forward. These were the ones who had raised questions about the place being used at burial grounds, and after the investigation has happened, it now seems like there was nothing that was found over there. So you are seeing also, and that is why you're seeing politics around it. The BJP, as we heard P. Rajiv talk about how they've tarnished the image of Dharmasthala and how it was the government who wanted to do it. While the Congress, on the other hand, has maintained that by this SIT, they have cleared the aspersions that was there on Dharmasthala. So both of them fighting out, but at the end of this, it's the people who had this belief that something was wrong over here with regards to the information that they have got. And with this masked man claiming that he has buried bodies, and now everything falling like a pack of cards when it comes to Dharmasthala, has really raised a lot of questions on what was actually going on there.
Absolutely. Vaji, before I let you go, I have to ask, what is the latest as far as investigation is concerned? Last we heard that some remains were found in certain sites, but since then now the investigation heading into who's responsible for burying those bodies. But give us a sense of what happened on ground as far as the excavation process is concerned.
Well, the excavation process has been stopped, and the fragments that they've already found so far in the diggings that have been done, that has been sent to the FSL, out of which a few reports have come out of them claiming to the bones being of a man, while the others are yet to come out. When it comes to excavation, this is what is happening on that front. But on the other side, they are going to continue the questioning because they've got 10 days custody. They will also rope in Mrs. Bhatt, who is also involved, who had also taken a U-turn. So that is the one thing that we will see in the next course of 10 days with thorough questioning on why and who's this behind this entire conspiracy and why what is done.
And before I let you go, is it a conspiracy? Can the police now confirm that the idea of a mass burial in Dharmasthala was all in fact a conspiracy?
Well, nobody is confirming anything. Even the government of the day has called it a conspiracy. The BJP has called it a conspiracy done by Congress. And now with the person who was moving the pieces for the SIT, the one who was directing the SIT on where it has to be, where things have to be dug, is also been arrested.
Right.
So we'll have to wait and watch how far the conspiracy turns out to be true, or whether there was any conspiracy behind it, and whatever the man is saying about bigger players behind it. Are there any bigger players, and who are those is something we'll have to wait and watch. That is when the entire puzzle will crumble.
All right, Vaji, thank you very much for all those details. Allegations that this is in fact a huge controversy as far as a mass burial site in Dharmasthala is concerned. The excavations have been stopped for now, but the main witness, the person who made that complaint, the complainant, has now turned out to be accused. He is currently being questioned by the SIT.